It was a quiet afternoon when I first saw her. I had gone to the library to find a book for my English class. I wasn't expecting anything special that day. The library was calm, and the soft sound of pages turning made it feel peaceful. I walked through the shelves looking for my book when I noticed her. She was sitting at a small table near the window. The sunlight came through the glass, making her look like she was glowing. She had long brown hair that fell over her shoulders and glasses that made her look smart. She was reading a big book, and she looked so focused. I couldn't help but stop and stare for a moment. I tried to continue looking for my book, but my eyes kept going back to her. There was something about her that made me curious. She seemed different, like she belonged in the library. Finally, I found my book and went to sit at a table. By chance, it was the table next to hers. As I sat down, I tried not to look at her too much. I didn't want her to think I was strange. But then she looked up from her book and smiled at me. It was a small smile, but it felt warm. I smiled back, feeling nervous. I wanted to say something, but I didn't know what to say. After a few minutes, she closed her book and started to pack her things. I felt a little sad, thinking she was about to leave, but then she spoke to me. "Is that book good?" she asked, pointing to the one on my table. Her voice was soft and kind. I looked at my book and then back at her. "I haven't read it yet," I said, "but I heard it's good. Do you like reading?" She nodded. "I love reading. I come here almost every day." We started talking, and it felt easy. Her name was Clara, and she loved books about adventures and magic. She told me about her favorite authors and asked me about mine. I told her I was still learning English and that reading helped me a lot. She said that was amazing and encouraged me to keep going. As we talked, I noticed how kind she was. She listened to everything I said and made me feel comfortable. It was like we had known each other for a long time. We laughed about funny book stories and shared our thoughts about characters we liked. Before I knew it, the librarian announced that the library was closing. I couldn't believe how fast the time had passed. Clara stood up and smiled at me again. "It was nice talking to you," she said. "Maybe I'll see you here again?" I nodded quickly. "Yes, I hope so," I said. "Thank you for talking with me." She waved goodbye and walked out of the library. I sat there for a moment, thinking about how lucky I was to meet her. She had turned an ordinary day into something special. The next day, I went back to the library at the same time, hoping to see her again. And there she was, sitting at the same table near the window. This time, I wasn't nervous. I walked up to her and said, "Hi, Clara." She looked up and smiled. "Hi, are you here for another book?" "Maybe," I said, "but I also wanted to talk to you again." From that day on, we started meeting at the library almost every afternoon. We would talk about books, life, and everything in between. Clara even helped me with my English. She corrected my mistakes and taught me new words. She made learning fun. As the weeks went by, I realized that Clara had become a big part of my life. She wasn't just the girl I met in the library, she was my friend, and maybe, just maybe, she was something more. But I didn't want to rush anything. I was happy just being around her. One day, Clara surprised me. She brought me a book as a gift. "This is my favorite," she said. "I think you'll like it." I looked at the book and smiled. "Thank you," I said. "I'll read it and let you know what I think." That night, I started reading the book. It was about two people who met by chance and became friends. As I read, I thought about Clara and how meeting her had changed my life. She had taught me so much, not just about books and English, but about kindness and friendship. Now, every time I go to the library, I think about how lucky I was to sit at that table next to hers. Meeting Clara was the best thing that ever happened to me, and even if life takes us in different directions, I'll always remember the girl I met in the library. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. See you soon.